And so let's move forward and let me introduce our next speaker, Siddharth Grover. Siddharth, he is the founder and CEO of Admomenta, and he's a brand marketing and digital expert and helps brands to build their brand positioning and market as being a CEO and founder of the Admomenta. So he is here with his immense knowledge in marketing and branding. He's here to share his thoughts and explain about how B2B marketing trends for digital media in 2023 gonna be. So over to you, Siddharth.
Thank you, Anushree. Uh, Very kind introduction from your side. I will just take a second to share my screen before I move on and take center stage here. Just give me a heads up if this is visible, please.
Yes, it's visible from our end.
Perfect. So, what is so? First of all, thank you to Jayant as well. I think he set the stage perfectly on in the first session of the day, where he's talking about how the transition has been made or has been forced upon us since 2020, and therefore the impact across organizations. What I'll take forward from there is the biggest impact, in my opinion, has been observed, especially in the way B2B marketing is being done. A lot of B2C firms were still adopting digital as one of their primary mechanisms in advertising in 2020, in 2019, and as we approach 2020. But what 2020-21 has done is thrown B2B marketing also into the deep end of the equation, where they have been left with no other choice but to become center stage on digital, and the spends therefore going up, and therefore the influence of digital in B2B marketing going up too. As I move forward, a small introduction about me. I have done my MBA in from SIBM Pune, and then worked across organizations, Vodafone, Lenovo, very recently Aeon. And this is before the entrepreneur in me said that let's do something around marketing, because that is what you are passionate about, and that is when Ad Momenta came about. That is just a gist of it. And before we dive into the deeper end of B2B marketing, I'll take a step back and push you ahead to 25th of December or 31st of December, whichever way you'd like, and imagine help you imagine yourself on a vacation, probably in Goa, having a sip of your perfect favorite beverage, and then looking across the sea and observing this ship moving from, let's say, island A to island B. The marketer in me often observes that, and then we feel that what is this ship? What is the driving force that is leading this ship from a point A to point B? There are two things that usually come to my mind personally. One is the propellers that are below the ship, which help it move forward, trot forward. The second is the direction of the wind. So if the wind is blowing from A to B, it will help you move from A to B in a perfect direction, in a perfect time that you have encountered for yourself. Uh, if we draw the right analogy on marketing, the propellers that you have in on the ship, below the ship, these are exactly your growth levers. So a lot of times people confuse what is growth marketing, what is brand marketing, what is different terms of marketing that are thrown about. I just try to make it very simple when I say the propellers at the bottom of your ship that help you move forward is your growth marketing. So the engine room is your growth marketing that helps you in day-to-day activities. What is brand marketing? The wind behind the sail. So this wind behind the sail actually defines how much time you will take from reaching from point A to B, or how much distance you'll have to cover because of the direction of the wind. If you have your growth levers as well as your brand in the right position, you will make the perfect landing in the perfect time. And this is what the rest of my session I'll try to cover all the points with a perspective of this ship. So I just wanted to throw this in. You can come back from your holiday and get back again to the educational mode of things. And this is where I've listed 5 things that I feel will define the B2B world of marketing in 2023. The first one is the power of positioning. So a lot of people often don't treat positioning in the right way. When I say they don't treat positioning in the right way, is specifically for B2B. If you think of softwares around the world in any specific sphere, let us say a CRM. Every CRM in this world eventually does those core utilities for you. There is no differentiation per se. So how you will differentiate yourself so that Siddharth will buy from you is the perfect definition of positioning. Now, positioning can be done in majority of different ways. There can be a way of storytelling, there can be a way of positioning via differentiation in benefits or features, or probably how it makes you feel. But the core crux of the philosophy is that you have to be different from your competitor for you to be remembered. To give you an example on this front, wherein since I am very passionate about marketing and therefore B2B side of things, and all of us love our Prime Minister who hails from this background that you see on the screen. So instead of doing a chayos, which was like the mass thing, we thought that we'll do something on the corporate side of things and call it a tea. Now, what was the philosophy of calling it tea and not chai? The thing was, if you see across the world, uh, chai as a name is prevalent across places where chai or tea has reached via land. So if you're talking Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Punjab, everywhere, every each of these states or cities, chai has reached by way of land and therefore it is called chai. In places chai or tea has reached by way of water, it is called tea. So that is why the English call it tea. That is why in a lot of South India it is known as tea and not chai. The power of positioning that I want to highlight here is, if we are calling it the high tea company, that is, we are positioning it in a way that is coming to you via water and therefore higher in perception and not massy. This is how we have to position all our softwares as well. If we take another step back, what is the role of marketing eventually? Especially in B2B world, we have to put ourselves in the consideration set whenever someone is making our purchase. Let's take an example. If you think of a chocolate, what are the first three things that come to your mind? If you talk to me, I'll say 5 star, I'll say Dairy Milk, but probably that's it. If you think of shoes, you'll say Nike, Reebok, Puma. That is it. This is your consideration set. In case of B2B, you're thinking CRM, you'll think, or you think marketing automation for that matter. You'll say a Salesforce, you'll say a Marketo, you'll say Eloqua. But that is your consideration set, and the purchases therefore will be among the consideration set. Therefore, the primary job of marketing in B2B is to get you inside the door into that consideration set, and that is where the power of positioning comes along. Moving on to the second point, as B2B marketing has grown, people have realized a lot of things, that it is not just one touch point that you can get a lead and have your salespeople call this lead 25 times over and then make a conversion. No, that is not how it works. The reason is, B2B purchases are often high ticket purchases. When I say high ticket purchases, it means that these decisions are often difficult to reverse. So if you've purchased a kind of software or a tool or an automation for your organization, you made a consideration and made the purchase. It is not as if you're buying a packet of chips which you can use, don't like, and throw it away. Hence, you have to touch this customer more than once, and therefore the layering has come in inside the digital world of marketing, wherein we are now building cold layers, warm layers, hot layers, and within the cold layers, you're touching. Within these layers, you're touching the customer multiple number of times. The cold layer in this example could be by way of quiz, doing surveys, so that you understand the point of view of the customer, what they want. The warmer layers are more around your thought leadership, wherein you're, if you are, let's say, an expert on marketing automation, you are doing white papers, you're doing webinars, you're appearing on a specific podcast that you are promoting to your target audience. And then eventually you come on to the hot layer, which is a combination of cold and warm. Anyone who's interacted with your cold and warm layers, that is when you approach this person with a hot layer, saying that what is the solution you're offering, and what are the clients you're already working with, what are your testimonials, is there a case study. So this is how the B2B world is now developing and progressing into, and which is fantastic, because there is some method to the B2B world as well.
पता नहीं यार, I've joined from LinkedIn and Teams and
Moving on to the third portion of it is what I call dream. So dream is not a term that I've coined. It is a term that I found on the internet and I actually loved it. The full form is distribution rules everything around me. I'll explain what this is. So a lot of B2B organizations are creating a lot of content in the way of blogs, in the way of articles. But what happens often is these blogs are posted once on their website, probably a couple of times on LinkedIn, once on Facebook, and that's it. What is distribution rules everything around me is if you post it once on a LinkedIn or a Facebook and you have, let's say, 1,000 people following you, only 10% will view this. What about the rest of the 90%? To reach them, you have to find different ways. And because you have that core content already there have to be ways to repurpose this content. Now, repurposing this can be by the way of LinkedIn carousels. Repurposing can be the way of appearing on podcast and sharing your point of view around the same. Pushing it to Medium as blogs, pushing it as Twitter threads, creating a webinar around it, and then pushing your point of view. Appearing on events, having a 15-minute slot, pushing your thought across. So distribution of content will become mainstream in 2023. That is something I'm willing to bet upon because that is how your sales will be made eventually because you are a thought leader in your industry. So this is my point number 3 for 2023. Distribution rules everything around me. Then a very straightforward one, not a lot of went behind uh, giving you this one, which is the fourth point, the era of audios and videos. The only difference is the era of audios and videos is now pushing itself onto the B2B world as well. So till now we were seeing a lot of influencer marketing going on into the B2C sides of things. There were a lot of box opening videos that you see. Unboxing is what we call it by the way of videos. Everything around this will probably transition into B2B, wherein you'll have vlogs, you'll have founders or CMOs of organizations appearing on podcasts, which are videos that are being pushed onto the target audiences. The era of audios and videos as a consumption will drastically increase in 2023, and this is what will drive purchases as well because this is how engagement will happen across the digital media because the friction is lesser between the user and the use cases. So this is the point number 4 that I wanted to drop in upon. And last but not the least is a very valid point. I wanted to keep it as number 1, but I wanted the big bomb at the end of it. So the new decision makers, as you see, will be Gen Z and millennials. A lot of times we've considered B2B as the older audience with 50 plus of age group and things like that. According to a recent study, close to 65% of the B2B decisions in coming years up to 2025 will be made by age groups of 26 to 45. That is a huge number. Age groups of 26 to 45 is actually present on digital media, and that is how the influencing of B2B decisions will happen. So there is absolutely no other choice but to hop onto digital, and inside digital choose your media, choose your poison, as they say. So it could be a LinkedIn if you're selling a B2B software. If you're selling a B2C SaaS, it could be by the way of Instagram as well. In the United States, a lot of times TikTok is becoming the go-to medium for B2B organizations. So the opportunities are plenty. The fact is we'll have to come onto the bandwagon if we have not already, because the decision makers are sitting on the digital platform. That is the way to reach them. So this is the fifth point and probably the biggest one of the lot. Just summing up what I've just shared: the power of positioning, the marketing layers of cold, hot, and warm, distribution rules everything around me, the era of videos and audios, and finally the decision makers being the age group of 26 to 45 that will drive uh, drive revenues of more than 200 billion as per a study. So these become the five levers, and that I believe will be my time. And one last, leaving you with one last quote that I believe we often are found guilty of complicating marketing. I am absolutely on the other side of things. The secret to marketing success is always doing the common things just uncommonly well. So leaving you with that thought, and that will be my time. Thank you, and I hope you liked what you saw. Back to you, Anishri.
Thank you. Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and leaving us with a really nice thought. And we'll definitely give a thought to it and try to process how we can go ahead. And also, I like the way you started with the Goa trip, which I believe most of the people have a dream of it, which you eventually, like with your thoughts, you actually made it go like reality. And now people think a Goa trip as in a different perspective and try to position themselves like and to be stand out different.